Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, Naomi.
How are
Sorry
you?
for being 4 minutes late here, but I apologize.
6, but who's counting? Just
Don't
kidding.
count the 4 minutes. Exactly. Let me start off with some birthdays first, get that out of the way before I start going to the work
Okay.
I did last week. Happy 51st birthday going to Gloria in Chartrand. It was her
Oh,
birthday. It's my wife.
happy
On October
birthday.
30th. Yeah. And then happy birthday to Sonia. My daughter was celebrating her birthday October 31st.
Happy birthday.
And my baby, of course, my princess had her birthday October 24th.
Right.
So she's out in Scotland right now. They're attending a funeral for my son-in-law's uncle
Oh,
who passed away due to illness. Happy birthday going out to Linda Brockier, who was celebrating her birthday. She didn't want to advertise it, I guess. That's Lex's wife, Linda, and I've been working with us now for at least 25 years. October 31st is her birthday, same as my daughter. Happy birthday going to Calvin Yakachuk, of course, same birthday as Gloria, and they're twins. He
right.
celebrated his birthday October 30th. Calvin, happy birthday. And he's single and looking, so just in case, I have to throw that in there. And,
Happy
and
birthday.
he has a good job. He owns a house and he's looking. Happy birthday to Champ Peranto. It's Sharon Peranto's husband who is celebrating his birthday on Wednesday, November 1st. And happy 15th birthday to little Rich Janai. Of course, it's Kevin's son who is celebrating his birthday on Thursday, November 2nd. So a lot of birthdays. I'm sure I'm missing a hell of a lot of them. And it's an expensive month for me. Of course, there's
It is.
three of my top favorites, and I got to make sure I spoil them all. And we were supposed to have a birthday party. I just came back from Ottawa on Saturday for my baby,
Yeah.
of course, Martha. And then the unfortunate situation occurred, and where her dad's uncle passed, and they're all in Scotland right now preparing for the funeral. So,
Right.
again, my condolences, of course, go to Frida and her family and all of her kin for the loss of her brother. So, again, we express our condolences from my Gloria and me, and, of course, from Cabinet and everybody else that knows Frida. Frida always attends funerals and prays and sings for others.
Yeah.
So I know there'll be a lot attending her time of need now. And because I always really honor those people that go out, like Gloria and Elizabeth and even Larry Pronto. They used to go all over the place. And nobody would be there, like just no music. They'd show up with the guitar and they start singing and give help in the grieving process, So it's so important.
It really
Again,
is.
condolences to Frida and the rest of the family. And I was just reading the article, in fact, this morning about Buffy St. Marie.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a shocker to everyone. I met her on numerous occasions myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she's definitely an icon and has established herself as a musician and a writer, songwriter.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you read the article of how that all transcends itself to where she now claims to be and always has been, in her view, First Nation, but she claimed different ancestries, also Mi'kmaq and different places.
Algonquin, and I watched the documentary.
Yeah, it's quite a. It's hard when you see that happen, because she's a favorite. She's well respected.
Yeah.
And definitely shares earned her due, but she's got herself also recognized, as an Indigenous person a long time ago. And I don't know, it's going to be a difficult one for the First Nation, Piapot, and the rest of the First Nation, and those that are who have adopted her,
Yeah.
and lay claim, of course, as being part of the family. So it's a challenge when that happens, and it's unfortunate that people can't just say who they are, and just be proud
Yeah.
and then connect themselves. But again, let them. It's a matter of a Piapot and the family to deal with, and the First Nation, of course, will be addressing this. There's different opinions on all sides, and it's not good enough. Our own challenge as a Métis. We have an entire nation attempted to be stealing from us. So we know the hardships, we know the passion, and people have told me to leave the Métis National Council. Our citizens made it very clear.
Yeah.
3,000 people said if Métis Nation of Ontario continues to be part of the Métis National Council, even though MMF was one of the creators of the Métis National Council in 1983, we will depart. And our people told us to leave the Métis National Council. And, of course, that's where the lawsuit started against us, et cetera, et cetera. We've been very successful, by the way, and I'll talk about that shortly. In the courts, we got awarded some large legal fees back to us. But when you look at what's happening right now in this big dispute that's happening in Ontario, where the Chiefs have spoken out strongly about stealing identity, stealing relatives, and it's true. You look at some of the pictures they've shown of connecting themselves to that person, saying that person is our Métis ancestor, and the Chiefs are saying, how can that be? That's our chief.
Yeah.
going back, quite a number of years ago. So how can that be your relative when that's our chief? How can you say the person was Métis? So it's really, and then the same thing, they're stealing us. They're stealing our flag. They're stealing our beadwork. They're stealing our music. They're stealing our L'Oreal. They're stealing our heroes. I was reading an article. They're speaking before the Standing Committee on Indigenous Northern Affairs regarding their pursuit to get self-government, and they're trying to disguise it's not a treaty. Well, what they're not telling the people, again, when you start lying, you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're not telling the people, there is a clause in there, in that legislation. If it's just self-government and respect to governing your own self, I don't think First Nations would be somewhat worried about that. I think First Nations are worried on the concept of a treaty, that you're going to recognize these people as Métis and become part of the Métis Nation, and there's no connection to us in history anywhere.
Right.
So you're really creating a new nation is what First Nations are saying. We're saying the same thing. But when you look at their position, the hardship that could come with it, and you look at us, they're dragging us to courts. They're trying to destroy our reputation, our name, trying to hurt us, and they're losing in court. And because they're all lies. They're all fictitious, fabricated statements of lies. And so when you start looking at it, they're getting caught in court, and they're losing quite strongly, with strong words coming out of the judge and so forth. But they're speaking before the Standing Committee, and, I read President Caron's position that we're the L'Oreal's people. How can they be L'Oreal's people in those 6 historical new communities when there's no connection to him? All of a sudden now he's L'Oreal's people. That's my point. They're stealing our heroes, our people that suffered, our people that died, our people that gave their life for our cause. And we've waited over 200 years to get here. And here you are coming along and trying to steal it overnight. And I can see the passion the First Nations have on this issue in Ontario. So we support the First Nation of Ontario. We publicly made our statements. We support them. They're right and should be fearful of it. Because if you look at the legislation, they call it Bill C-53. It talks about the self-government agreement that we signed one here on July 6, 2021. And it really describes, we remove the border lines. They no longer apply to us. Mm-hmm. We protect our people's Section 35 rights, which we have no doubt have as Métis at Red River. They're protected and agreed to by the Supreme Court of Canada. So when you look at the law, you look at the Constitution, we are for sure, without a doubt, Section 35 rights holders. And definitely the Métis people, the true Métis people. And then now you have people from Eastern Ontario coming in to steal an entire nation. So when you look at their Article C-53, Article 5 talks about them doing a treaty separate after, if it's passed, they'll negotiate what's called order in council, so people should understand what that means. Order in council means they don't have to do a consultation. They don't have to go back to Senate. They don't have to go back to even the Standing Committee. They can make a backroom deal with the governing power and get a treaty.
Interesting.
So that's why First Nations are furious with this, because what they're telling the media, Alberta, the president, a new president there, Andrea, she'll have to catch up because she's now preaching some falsehood. And Michelle Leclerc, who's from MMF, she's preaching again, you're going to hurt the Métis Nation, you're going to hurt us. And well, you're the one that got in that wagon, in that canoe with Margaret Fro, and you took Saskatchewan in there. Mm-hmm. And you supported them, and your president supported them, saying that their citizenship was clean, there was nothing wrong with it, and you fought against us on that. You fought against MMF, you fought against the president of the MNC was ordered to do his work, and you went against it, supporting these people which weren't Métis. And now you're saying, well, there are people. How can they be your people? Show us in history where they're connected. Show us in history how their First Nation is wrong. And they're not wrong. So I think we'll go before the Standing Committee. Probably Al Benoit will be there, because I'll be away. I'm actually going on holidays. I'm leaving November 7th. I'm going to take some time off. And I'm hopefully going to try to shut off my phone. I have a hard time not checking up on work all the time. So, and because I have to know what's going on as the president. So, but I'm actually going to try and take a little break if I can, and then so recoup myself. And we've got a long journey ahead of us. We are starting to meet with Canada now on our land claims. We meet them on November 20th to start negotiation on a settlement to our land claim. Right. And again, even there, Alberta, under the presidency during the time of Audrey Patra, they took us to court on Section 31, and Saskatchewan's indicating they're going to take intervener. That they are saying that they have a right to the land claim now. You know, we were in court for 32 years, and not 1 cent has ever come from them. Not one time did they ever help us. But all of a sudden they say, well, we have some Red River Métis living in our province, so we have a right to land claim now. So, so they're taking us to court, and we'll beat them in court. I'm not worried about that. So, but it just shows you again, these people that go out preaching stuff in the public is actually deceiving their own people in the back rooms. And a good example is how they're helping Ontario and claiming that and supporting that which they're part of, that these are Riel's people. These are not Riel's people. I'm talking about Ontario. So you look at it from that point. We'll continue to vigorously protect. We've always been the gatekeeper of identity theft. That's going to happen to us. And the East Coast has tried it. Quebec has tried it. Now Ontario has actually gone all the way to the edges of Quebec now, because Ottawa actually continues its land base into Quebec. So it's just shocking to see that how far this thing could go and the impact it'll have to the next generation. If we don't fight and defend it now, as we go forward in negotiating our health legislation, we're negotiating child welfare legislation transition that's almost done already. So they're going to be demanding all these things. Our housing, they're going to be demanding our education funds. These are going to go to non-Métis people, and because they're being recognized as a new nation. So Canada's got themselves in some hot water. They should have done some work, and if they would remove the treaty from there, I think maybe that would salvage some caution with the First Nations, some caution with us, that they have to, like we did. We took years and years of negotiating our treaty, and look at the thousands of people we talked to and negotiated with our people, educating our people. They didn't talk to no one. Yeah. They just wrote it for the back door and got it inside. And so that's the big problem they face. If they would have consulted, they would have been in a different position. Even if people are against it, at least let them have their opinion to be against it, and hear their opinion and try to express clarity to clear out their issues. So from our side, our treaty is going through consultation right now. It's gone to every chief in Manitoba. It's gone to even those 4 presidents who oppose us, who are taking us to court on everything. You think they're going to support our treaty? Never. But who cares? We're not affecting them. Our treaty is very clear. And for us, it's more historical than anything, and I think people should get a good handle on it. For the Red River Métis, we look at it in the context of a commitment made in 1870 by John A. Macdonald, who actually promised at the time. That's why people ask me, why do you stand up sometimes for Queen Victoria? Well, Queen Victoria in her era in 1870, when John A. Macdonald was trying to buy Canada, the Western Canada, but he did not own Western Canada, remember that. And he wanted to buy for 300,000 pounds. And, of course, we dominated the prairies. We're the biggest population of prairies, the Métis, and First Nations have been here for thousands of years. So the collaboration between the First Nation and the Métis, this was our land. We lived it, we grew with it, we protected it, we harvested from it. It was our land. And so when we worked together, we supported and protected it. So then all of a sudden you want to buy it, and Queen Victoria said, no, I'm not selling you the land, I'm not sending you no British troops until you deal with this uprising. So he, publicly, in the answer of this country in Parliament, this is the exact words of I don't have it in front of me, but I know the quote. He said, we're treating with the half-breeds. So he wanted to convince Queen Victoria that he was doing the right thing as asked, and that he was negotiating with us, which he did not, of course, as you know. Once he got the British troops, he sent the British troops after us, and that's where the Reign of Terror occurred, where many of our women were raped and houses were burned, people were killed, men were killed, some were stoned in the river. It was hell for our Métis people after that. So, and it's been hell throughout since 1870. So this treaty means a lot to us more from the principle side of it,
right? And
from historical wrongs corrected, because there's no money attached to it. It's more from our treaty I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're hiding that Bill 53. They're hiding that in Article 5. It doesn't say they have it, but it says they can do it without consultations, with nothing. So when you start looking at it, First Nations here might oppose it, say we don't agree with Métis having a treaty. Well, that's their prerogative. They have a right to say that. But let's not forget the Métis were there for them when Riel at the time was pushing that the treaties have to be negotiated with the First Nations. And Treaty 1 comes in 1871. Ours is in 1870. So, and then Treaty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them follow after that. So, but Riel, of course, was very strong support because he worked closely with the chiefs worked closely with them. So the same thing I expressed at Olive Branch, you heard me in the show, for the First Nations. Let's work together. Let's sign treaties together. Let's talk about partnership. Let's talk about sharing natural resources. Let's talk about conservation of natural resources for the next generation. Let's work on how do we look at the economic engine. How do we support each other's businesses? Right. How do we help each other? How do we create jobs? for our people. We have a lot of First Nations that work for us now, and I'm very pleased. They're damn good, sharp, and good workers, and we're going to continue to hire more. So when you start looking at it, again, it's there if you want to be a partner. Our olive branch, our door is open, but if you want to fight with the Métis, then of course we'll protect ourselves. And I'm one vigorously that will protect my people with every skill I know and every ability of experience I have carried throughout my years. I will defend my people with everything I got. So when you start looking at it, I'm hoping that when we get our treaty done, it's done the right way. We did all consultations, everything. So I know that we will, and so will First Nations. I'm sure they'll be speaking at the Indigenous Northern Affairs Committee to echo their issues and concerns regarding Bill 53. And as I said, we did our negotiations, consultations, and on and on and on. So by that time, I believe there'll be little opposition to ours, because without question, we're still Section 35 rights holder. At the end, the treaty means nothing in the context of beyond the ability to respect and give us back the history that was stolen from us in 1870, 153 years ago. That's what it would mean to us. Mm-hmm. Because you can't take our Section 35 rights from us. It's in the Constitution, protected by the law of this land. So again, I hope we have to educate and try to give more information to anybody that's concerned. Call us. We'll get a hold of you and we'll share with you everything we know from the legal concept, political concept about this whole issue of the treaty. As I support their treaties, I hope they support ours. So don't forget tonight's Portage Local Annual Métis Gala Night, and I want to thank Wes and the rest of the team out there, the local. They always work hard, and they're really pushing, of course, the pride they have for the Métis of the Red River. They're having a gathering this evening, of course. It's at the 40 Royal Road in Portage La Prairie at the Herman Prior Center. Herman Prior Center it's called. And that's a night of entertainment. And for food, if you want the dinner and the concert, it's $40. If you just want the concert, it's $15. Doors open at 6:30 for the folks. Music is provided by top quality Red River Métis talent, including Dave Lavalley, John Dietrich, and the newly united Métis Prairie Steppers. And if you want to get a ticket, contact David Panko. That's named David Panko. And here's the number. You've got your pen, Andy. I'll give you a few seconds here. Get a pen, and I'll repeat it twice. 204-670-0152. One more time, David Panko. You can reach him for a ticket. You're going to have some great talent out there. We'll get on his way down there to represent. I won't be there this evening. And Wes, I apologize. I just got back from Ottawa, and I'm not in my best. I had a aching throat yesterday, and maybe I was pushing too hard. I don't know. I had tons of meetings. I'll get to that shortly. But again, David Panko, 204-670-0152. So get your ticket, $15, and some great entertainment. You can't beat that price. And if you want a good meal, it's $40. Also, there's going to be MMF looking for Red River Métis citizens to participate in the upcoming Type 2 firefighter training program. Currently, 3 citizens are already registered. We'd like to train we would like to train 1 per region. So if we can get some of them, be great. Taking place in the week of November 6th in Brandon. The training is in collaboration with the Parks Canada National Resource Management Branch. So there's meals, honoraria, accommodations. So if you want to get that training as a firefighter, Type 2, get a hold of MMF at mmf.mb.ca and check with the subject line firefighter. I think it's on our website. And you can get your training, and then you get your meals and get your accommodations and taken care of. But you'll have a certification when you get out of there. So jump on that if you have a chance. As you know, there's going to be more and more fires, and we're going to need more and more skilled people to be out there. And it's not an easy job. There was, I think, 5 to 7 deaths that occurred during these massive fires that took place in BC and other places. I think 5 or 7 firefighters died. Yeah, it's a dangerous job. So you need all the training they get to make sure they're safe and they come home safe after they go fight to help protect so many families and citizens or communities or towns from burning down. So I just came back from Ottawa. I was meeting with senators on our treaty and on advising about the upcoming land claim. Mm-hmm. So I met about probably 8 senators, and I'm still lining up more senators as we go. A lot of people still, and this is the sad part, I think, that all of us should be worried about as Indigenous people. They still don't know much about us. This is the new millennium of 2023, and they still don't know much about us. They don't know about all the different nations, we'll call it First Nations. Like, bands are not First Nation. Bands are administration offices. There's nations within the province, within Canada. There's a very varying amount of nations, and that's where their rights come from as nations. And bands are just administration offices, just like the MMF office is just an administration office. It's just our government office. The real power of our powers of our Section 35 right comes from the Métis Nation of the Red River. That's where our rights come from. So same thing with First Nations. And so I met with senators and educating about who we are as the Métis of the Red River. We also advised them when questions were asked about Bill 53. Why are we supportive? Are we concerned? And of course, we expressed our concern that we have potentially a full, not just one person, not just a professor, a lawyer using to become a judge, or a university professor becoming somewhere more senior or advancing or getting an Order of Canada hiding under our wing and hiding under our identity and using that as a tool for their personal gain. This is about an entire group of people. In the future will be hundreds of thousands coming in to steal an entire nation. And that's scary. That's scared anybody out there that's listening. That could happen so quickly and so fast. And so I educated them about also, like I said, when you look at Bill 35, you look at Article 5, there's a section there where the treaty will be consulted directly with them, with government, without consultation to the First Nation, without consultation to us. And before you know it, those same Métis people that are creating a government with will end up being giving a treaty to them. And as some First Nations said, you're creating a new nation in our backyard, and that'll have jurisdictional, territorial control or fight with us in the future, in which they will. Because they already sit on the boards of Métis Nation Ontario. Imagine one of them will be president soon. And Margaret Ford, they say, comes from Saskatchewan. I don't know much about Margaret Ford, the president, but they say she comes from Saskatchewan. But eventually somebody's going to be elected out of the 6 communities that don't come from the prairies. And guess what? Their policy is going to change. Their structure is going to change. And maybe soon they're going to invite Quebec in. And on and on and on. And then all hell breaks loose. And everybody becomes a Métis now in Canada. So, and everybody's going to steal the First Nations' rights and their inheritance and their struggles to try to get a part of the economic opportunity in this country. So First Nations should be worried, as we are worried. It's going to affect the next generation. Like, I'm too old to be affected. Like, I'll be dead and gone by the time the real change of impact occurs. But once you open that gate, you're not going to be able to shut that gate. It's open. And then we failed our kids, we failed our grandkids, and we didn't protect them. We didn't protect their resources, their rights, their inheritance that should be coming to them, and that their life should be better than ours. And if we don't stop this invasion that's coming from the east, like the Métis, and stealing First Nation identity, we're in for one hell of a storm, and we're going to leave behind for the next generation. So that's why I was meeting with the senators and educating them about who we are. Some, of course, are Métis senators, and so we had a good chat with them, and they understand quickly who we are, and they definitely are after shake their head and figuring out if they were to support this legislation, this bill, how in the hell did they support it knowing those are not Métis? Because they come from the homeland, some of the senators. So that would be interesting, because they're independent, but they're still appointed by the level government in charge. So it's going to be interesting how that pans itself out. So we're going to look at some recommendations to put forward and some changes, or kill it all. I'll kill it all together, because at the end of the day, and start over like we did. Go back and if you want a treaty, go and do a consultation. Talk to the people, tell them what it means, tell them how it impacts the future, and how there's potential dangers to even what a treaty can do. So those are the things that we did, and it took us years and years to get here. And as I said, they didn't have to do that. They went through the back door, and they were potentially given a future opportunity for a treaty, and they're not going to even consult with First Nations. So, and with the Métis of the Red River. So again, those are important aspects. I'll continue to meet. I also met with the minister. I thank the minister again for the work he's trying to do. He's a new minister, Gary. I won't say his last name because I'll butcher it. I have a hard time with my accent to say his last name. And at the end of the day, I look forward to a continued work. He's made it very clear. This government, this prime minister, himself as minister, are committed to finish off the Métis Treaty with Red River. There's no doubt in his mind it will be done. And we're just going to make sure we do proper consultations with a lot of the First Nations to look at it, see if it does impact them, how does it impact them. And if it does, they need clarity, we'll give them clarity. So that's what's up right now in ours. And I said, I want to do mine right. I want to make sure, as I said, that people know what it is and never be afraid of it, because at the end, for us, it's more historical than anything. You can't take our Section 35 rights from us, neither can you take First Nation Section 35 rights from them or Inuit. So So we're protected under the realm already in the Constitution, but I just want to make sure that we correct the historical wrong. So again, with that being said, get ready. I got a big birthday party to prepare for my wife next week on 30th, and so if they don't do anything, I might even have to bake or something. I don't
That's
know
like
what I'm going to
Monday.
do. But,
Just flagging.
maybe I'll make a cake. I mean, I was watching this morning. I was watching a kitchen show, how to cook.
You only have 2 days, David. It's not like next week. It's like 2 days away, 48 hours.
I'm smart. I went and got my birthday present about 2 weeks ago already. So,
Oh, good.
there was a sale going on, so I went to the sale and got prepared for it. I hope she's not listening about that part. So it was a sale. Anyways, I'm going to thank all the elders and all the people that guided me throughout my time and have taught me so much that I can use today when I debate and fight for our people. So I'm very, very proud. I'm very proud of Wob. Wob gave me a call the other day and give me updates on certain things that are occurring and make sure the Métis are fully briefed on what's going on. And I really appreciate that from the Premier to reach out to my government. And we look forward to the settlement. I know a lot of the kids are probably wondering what happened to a child social allowance money. Well, let me tell you, it's already close to being finalized. We're waiting for the government of Manitoba, their lawyers, to confer that the class action by our federation and by our agencies will be recognized, and then from there it's stamped. Then we go to the government and say, okay, give us the $55 million that you have taken from these kids. Then we start to distribute the money. So we're working. Everything is being ready. We'll roll out very quickly once we get some of the legal stuff out of the way. And Rob's aware of that, and Naomi Fontaine, I'm sure she's briefed on that as the new minister, and I anticipate a quick response from them. So again, to all our young people out there, stand proud, believe in yourself, believe in Métis, never let anybody tell you different, and we'll stand together to protect your children and their children after them from these thieves that are trying to steal our identity in Eastern Canada, Ontario, all these places that are coming to try and steal our identity. And as they say at the assembly, when everybody yells, "Who are we? Red Reverend 18." So we'll keep that going. Okay, take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys next Saturday. I will be. What day is next Saturday?
Next Saturday is the 4th.
Oh, okay. I'm still here. I don't leave, I think, till the 7th. So, okay, we'll talk to you guys next Saturday, and take care. Thank you for finding me, Cowboy.
You're welcome.
Ray St. Germain is listening as well, so.
Okay, Ray. It's always nice. I'm very pleased that just for people, Ray fought his way through COVID and some other health stuff, and then tough old Métis man that he is. And I'm very proud that you're getting better again, Ray. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.